Video will discuss about thalassemia major. So firstly, going to what are the different types of hemoglobin which we see in the human body. So we will discuss firstly the various hemoglobins. So there is various globin chains which are seen. There is alpha globin chain, then there is beta globin chain, we have gamma globin chain and delta globin chain. Whenever there is deficiency of one of these chains, it leads to thalassemia. So various hemoglobin which are formed by these chains are HbF. This is known as fetal hemoglobin and is formed by alpha 2 chains and gamma 2 chains. Now in adults, this hemoglobin is replaced by HbA form of hemoglobin. Now this is formed by alpha 2 and beta 2 hemoglobin. Then you have your HbA2 hemoglobin. This is also found in the adults but is found in very less quantity. It is formed by alpha 2 and delta 2 chains. So this is how various type of hemoglobins are found in the human body. Now if when there is decrease of any of the globin chains, there is reduced or absent production of these globin chain, this will lead to thalassemia. So it is kind of a globin chain disorder. Okay, so it depending upon which globin chain is absent or is reduced, there is classification of the thalassemia. So in beta thalassemia, as the name suggests, the beta chain will be absent or will be reduced. Then there will be alpha thalassemia. Then there are various other thalassemia syndromes. In this video we will discuss about the beta thalassemia and particularly about the beta thalassemia major. Now going to the classification firstly. So beta thalassemia is divided into thalassemia major, intermediate and minor. So major is the most severe form. Intermediate, as the name suggests, has an intermediate degree of severity, and minor is mostly asymptomatic with mild or no anemia. Now how does this difference takes place? So to know that, we should know about the beta chain. Okay, so beta globin gene, now we are talking about the gene part. Okay, this gene is formed on the 11th of the chromosome, and there are two genes which encode for this beta globin. Okay, there are two genes present. Now there can be either absent production of the beta globin chain or there can be reduced production. So whenever there is absent production of the beta globin chain, it is known as beta naught, and when there is reduced production, it is known as beta plus. So in beta thalassemia major, what will happen is there will be what will be there in the beta thalassemia major. We are talking about the thalassemia major part. In the major part, it can be either beta plus beta 0 or beta 0 beta 0. That means there can be reduced production by one gene and absent by the other, or there can be absent production of the beta globin chain altogether. However, in the case of intermediate and minor, the things will be different. That we will discuss later on. So this is the things we have already discussed. Now going to the beta thalassemia minor and intermediate, what will happen in there? Okay, so in intermediate, the reduced production can be present on the both genes. This will vary according to the degree. Okay, sometimes reduced production can be so much that this can enter into major also. Okay, but mostly beta when there is reduced production by both the beta genes, they will be in the intermediate category. However, in the minor category, only one of the gene will be affected, other gene will be normal. Okay, so if one of the gene is affected, then it is beta thalassemia minor. This is a autosomal recessive disorder. You can understand whenever the expression is controlled by both of the genes, it is autosomal recessive disorder. Now going to the pathogenesis, you have already understood about the gene part. Okay, now going to the pathogenesis of the beta thalassemia major, we are talking about the major here. Okay, so there is a deficient or absent synthesis of the beta globin genes. Because of this, what happens is, now already we understood that the hemoglobin is formed by alpha 2 and beta 2. When there is reduced production of the beta 2 genes, what will happen is there will be excess of the alpha globin chain. Now when these alpha globin chain they are excessively present, they precipitate into the erythroid precursors. Now this inclusions of alpha chain, the alpha chain inclusions, they produce red cell membrane damage. When these produce red cell membrane damage, this will lead to premature destruction of the erythroid precursors in the bone marrow. This is known as ineffective erythropoiesis. Whenever there is destruction of the erythroid precursors in the bone marrow, it is known as ineffective erythropoiesis. This will lead to anemia. Also, we already discussed that the inclusions are formed. These inclusions also give rise to defective RBCs, which will further be removed by the spleen, the reticuloendothelial system of the spleen. Because of this, splenomegaly can take place. Now, when this is taking place, the body is trying to compensate. Now it tries to compensate by increasing the production of the gamma chains, because another hemoglobin HbF is formed by alpha 2 gamma 2. So it produces increased production of gamma chain, which leads to increase in the HbF. Now HbF, as you remember from the physiology part, the HbF has higher oxygen affinity. That means it will not easily let go of its oxygen, so it leads to tissue hypoxia. And because of tissue hypoxia, what will happen is the body will try to compensate. It will try to compensate by formation of more erythroid precursors in the bone marrow. So this is all the pathogenesis of the thalassemia major. So mainly it depends upon there is excess of alpha globulin chains, then there is compensatory rise of the gamma globin chains also, and this leads to ineffective erythropoiesis. Now iron overload also takes place in the thalassemia. Now iron overload can take place because of two things. Firstly, there was ineffective erythropoiesis. Okay, ineffective erythropoiesis, what does it causes? It causes increased iron absorption. The body tries to absorb more of the iron. And secondly, whenever there is thalassemia major, the treatment, as we will discuss later on, is regular blood transfusions. Now blood transfusions also lead to increase of the iron in the body. So there is iron overload in the case of thalassemia. So this will produce its own complications. Okay, there will be deposition of this iron in various body parts like pancreas. There can be deposition then in liver, in gonads and heart, and then it can lead to various diseases like diabetes in if it is deposited in the pancreas. In liver it can cause cirrhosis. So this is also the part of pathogenesis. Now going to the clinical features. Now clinical feature, firstly the age of presentation. Now age of presentation you should know is around 6 months of age. Now remember again, we are talking about the thal major here. Okay, so it will be around 6 months of age, because the body switches from HbF into HbA within 4 to 6 months of age. It is the HbF is completely gone from the body around 4 to 6 months of age. So that is when the presentation takes place. Now typically patients of major major will present with severe anemia because of hemolysis, failure to thrive. They will not gain their milestone as quickly. There will be retarded growth, hepatosplenomegaly will be there, and certain skeletal and facial changes will be there. So typical faces of thalassemia patients is known as chipmunk faces, because there is, in this diagram you can, in this photo you can see there is frontal bossing and overgrowth of the maxilla because of the extra medullary production, the bony growth. Okay, so these children also suffer from repeated infections. Now going to the, this was about the clinical presentation. Various complications can also arise. They can be due to hypersplenism, can be due to extramedullary hematopoiesis, and there can be compression of various vital structures such as spinal cord. A very important feature seen in case of thalassemia major is hair on end appearance. So here you can see this is the skull, and here you can see it is the this is known as the hair on end appearance. This is because of widening of the medullary cavity and thinning of the cortex. Okay, so it's also known as crew cut appearance. Okay, so these are the two characteristics which are seen in the case of thalassemia. Then clinical features can also depend upon the iron overload status of the patient. If there is now patient is manifesting iron overload, so growth retardation can be there because of that, hyperpigmentation of skin can be there, cirrhosis can be there, diabetes mellitus can be there, gonadal dysfunction can be there, hypothyroidism, hypoparathyroidism, and cardiac failure. So these are all the complications when the patient goes into treatment also. The patient typically lives by the age of 20 to 30 years, and can the mostly the death is due to iron overload complication or heart failure. Also, there is risk of various infections due to chronic transfusion therapy. The patient can contract HIV, HBV, HCV. So these are all due to various the long-term chronic blood transfusion the patient is getting. Now going to the laboratory investigations. So in laboratory investigation, firstly we will discuss about the PBS findings. Okay, the peripheral blood smear findings. So patient will have low hemoglobin. Okay, then the anemia will be typically microcytic hypochromic. That means the MCV will be low of this patient, MCH will be low of this patient. Okay, so one again I'm trying to remember you that this is we are talking about the thalassemia major, because the findings will change when the it is thalassemia minor. Okay, on PBS findings you will see marked anisopoikilocytosis. We can see in this diagram the anisopoikilocytosis means there is variation in the size and the shape of the RBCs. So when it is marked, it is known as in severe marked anisopoikilocytosis, that means RDW. Okay, will be increased. There will be severe hypochromia. There will be plenty of target cell. Now very particular cells which are seen in case of thalassemia are the target cell. This is a target cell. You can see there is a RBC, and then there is concentrated amount of hemoglobin. There is redistribution of hemoglobin into the center. This is known as target cell. Then nucleated RBCs can be seen, polychromasia can be seen because the reticulocyte count is high. The WBCs and platelets are almost unremarkable. So these are the feature which we see in case of thalassemia. You can see there is marked anisopoikilocytosis, there is microcytic hypochromic type of anemia. You can see this is a very small RBC. Okay, there is you can see target cells, you can see NRPCs. Okay, other features which you can see are this you can see here, this is the basophilic stippling. You can see Howell jolly bodies. These also can be seen in thalassemia. Now the test of diagnosis is hemoglobin electrophoresis or HPLC. Okay, so by these two methods you can certainly say that the patient has thalassemia. So what does it do is we check about the various hemoglobin levels in this. Okay, so if there is elevated amount of HbF, okay, so it is seen in thalassemia major. The HbA2 can be also increased, but mainly if HbF is very elevated, it goes towards thalassemia major along with the typical clinical presentation of the patient. Iron status, as there is iron overload, the iron stores are full, ferritin is high, transferrin saturation is high, but the TIBC, that is the iron binding capacity, because the body has very much of iron, so TIBC will be low in this case patient. Also serum iron will be also high. Now going to the various therapies which we give in thalassemia patient. Firstly, the therapy can be for the child and also for the parents, because it's a very long standing disease. It requires financial support. The parents have to provide the financial support, the psychological support. So various societies also exist for the support of the patient. Then for the child, regular red blood cell transfusions are given, and chelation therapy is given for the iron overload. Okay, regular blood transfusions are given. If they are not given, the patient will die within 2 3 years because of congestive cardiac failure and severe anemia. Now going to the iron chelation therapy. Now because iron overload will take place, because of there is a high repeated there are blood transfusions. So to deal with that, the iron chelators are given. So iron chelators, two iron chelators which you should know about is desferoxamine and defriprone. Desferoxamine is given by intravenous route, however defriprone is given orally. Okay, and the other treatment which is done for some patients is splenectomy if the transfusion requirement exceeds very much. So but this is also not done very in very earlier stage, because risk of infections increase whenever we do splenectomy. The one on only curative therapy, the cure of thalassemia can be bone marrow transplantation, but it comes with its own risks, and uh, it is also a very risky procedure. So mostly the patients they go for iron chelation therapy and blood transfusion. So this was all about the thalassemia major. Do ask your queries in the comment box. Like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like this type of videos. We will discuss about thalassemia minor and screening of the parents in the other video. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video.